Welcome to the new world of college football, people, where your recruiting rankings are essential, but your transfer portal ones might be the reason we view you as a contender in the college football playoff. There's been a ton of teams that have scoured the portal for veteran talent, but one team that's not getting enough attention and should, Florida State. Are you watching what's happening in Tallahassee right now with Mike Norvell? The Seminoles look like a roster geared up for another run in 2024. How are they able to do this? What's the reasoning behind them landing premier talent? And more importantly, is this going to be the future of what to expect in Tallahassee? Let's go ahead and talk about it. But if you are new here, welcome on into the channel, people. My name is Cole Thompson. I'm a radio show host based in Houston, and I talk college football daily. So if this the daily fix you need to survive the dreaded offseason of college football, we got you covered. Live show starting this week. We got a banner. We'll recap in 2023. Look ahead to 2024. I'm going over my predictions this week. That's going to be a blunder. So if this is what you look for, why don't you smash that subscribe button down below? Even if it's not what you look for, smash that subscribe button down below. Leave a comment telling me your thoughts on what the Seminoles are doing in the transfer portal. Are they geared as the favorites in the ACC? Tell your friends, your family, your mortal enemies, best of bros, the drunk dude passed out in a Waffle House parking lot, Florida State fans and college football aficionados everywhere about this channel, because we are on the race to become the #1 YouTube show talking college football daily. Follow me on social media. I call it Twitter. You call it X. We all call it Instagram at Mr. Cole Thompson. That way, conversations surrounding our favorite sport never have to stop flowing. Everyone knows what Ole Miss has done so far in the portal. I think a lot of people have paid attention to what Oregon has done via the portal. And a team that's really flying under the radar is Louisville. The names that they have added in over the last just 72 hours might make them the co-favorites to win the ACC. But when you're looking at sustainability and also just the fact of proof of concept, you go to Florida State, because what they have done so far with the 14 transfers coming in is impressive. Do you know how many of them hail from Power 5 conferences of the 14? 13 players, including your new starting quarterback, including one of your premier defensive linemen, and a multitude of players that hail from the SEC, mostly known as the Crimson Tide of Alabama. Just go through this list of names right now. Sean Murphy from Alabama, Rodell Williams from Alabama, Sion Leoa from Oregon State, Richie Leonard, an interior offensive lineman from Florida, Earl Little from Alabama, Terrence Ferguson from Alabama, Malik Benson from Alabama, Devontae Brown from Miami, Tomia Diaguar from West Virginia, Jalen Brown from LSU, Grady Kelly, defensive lineman from Colorado State, Marvin Jones from Georgia, Jalen Lucas from Indiana, and DJ Uwe and Galilei from Oregon State. That's the level of talent you're bringing in. And so you have to ask yourself, why are these names leaving their situations and now going to join Mike Norvell in Tallahassee? Case in point, they want more experience, and they see a place like Florida State as a safe haven for transfer portal players. There's a proof of concept there. And there's this grand old analogy when it comes to players that leave a school simply because of limited reps that needs to be debunked. If you go to a place like Alabama or Georgia or LSU, or you can even throw in Ohio State, Michigan for that matter, I would throw in Clemson at times, and a couple of other places across this great country. If you're not seeing playing time, that doesn't mean that you're a bad player. It means that the person ahead of you is either more experienced or just as talented, if not slightly better. That does not mean that you on a different roster can't be a difference maker. And perfect example of this was exactly like Trey Benson. Benson was at Oregon, then he goes down to Tallahassee. Now we're talking about him as probably one of the top running backs in college football. And sometimes when you go into transfer portal, it doesn't always benefit you. Perfect example, look at Ole Miss. Zach Evans comes over from TCU, and you expect him to be the lead tailback, but nobody mentioned what Quinshon Judkins from Pike Road, Alabama was about to unleash in the SEC. So it doesn't always mean that you're going to get the best opportunity. But what a place like Florida State offers you is an opportunity. Hey, listen, you come here, you're going to have to work your ass off. You're going to have to show us every single day in practice that you are capable of leading this team as a vocal and physical presence. If you do that, guess what? You walk away better because of it. Nothing is promised, nothing is guaranteed, but the proof of concept is players walk in to Florida State unknown. They walk out as a known commodity, and it's been proven on every level of the field. Whether you look at the defensive line with Jared Verse coming over from UAlbany, at wide receiver, Johnny Wilson coming on over from Arizona State. Even though he wasn't a Mike Norvell recruit that was in the transfer portal, Jordan Travis comes over from Louisville. He ends up being the safe haven and the reason why you get to an undefeated regular season. And the same thing goes for Keon Coleman when he came over from Michigan, Trey Benson from Oregon, Fentrell Cypress from Virginia, and a countless multitude of names that have also now become commodities at the NFL level. There's a proof of concept that you're able to sell to players in the portal. You leave here more prepared, more ready, and more importantly, probably a better player because you strapped it up to wear the maroon and garnet. That's the way that I think a lot of people view a place like Florida State. And so when they do that and they show that this is something that is possible for you, it becomes second nature. Now, also, there's the thought process when it comes to Mike Norvell. It's no longer about adding in just every player. Because you look at the transfer portal, there's quantity and then there's quality. A place like Texas right now is viewing the quality aspect of things. The players that are coming in to Austin are going to be difference makers from the jump. They're all going to be plug and play starters, whether it be Trey Moore on the outside or Matthew Golden in the slot. For a place like Florida State, when Mike Norvell got there, he had to take everybody. He had to go reach out to Middle Tennessee. He had to go reach out to West Virginia, Charlotte, Marshall, San Jose State. Any place across the country that wanted to send players down to Tallahassee, he was walking them in with open arms. Now, he can be decisive. He can look at the type of players that are being added in. Well, he just played at Alabama, and he was a really solid player, whether that be in practice, all the things that we're hearing from the coaching staff is promising. He just couldn't get on the field because of who was ahead of him. I like our chances of building him up and turning him into something promising. Oh, he was at Miami. The reason he was at Miami was because of we didn't offer him a scholarship right out of high school, but now we see what the talent can be. Let's go ahead and bring him in. Now you're making these decisive moves that are now pigeonholing you into declaring this the type of talent that you're looking for. And you can do that at a place like Florida State. And what's really interesting is that a place like Florida State now is buying into the new notion of college football. Like it, hate it, disagree with it. I personally am not a fan of all the moves that are being made in our favorite sport. But here's what I am a fan of. When your team backs their mouth where the money is, they're not afraid to go spend with NIL. They're not afraid to go reach out and say, we want this kid and we're willing to pay this price to go ahead and bring him in. Florida State did everything right in the world of college football last year and was penalized because their quarterback got injured. And so they're saying to themselves, we're not having that happen again. And it does not mean that you will not make the college football playoff. You win your conference, you automatically are punching your ticket into a 12-team postseason. But if you don't punch your ticket and you don't win the likes of your conference, you have to make sure that everything is clicking to where there's no reason or ramifications to say you are not belonging as one of the 12 best teams. And so Florida State's backing it up. They're saying we're going after players who are proven commodities that come from major institutions that have a certain brand about themselves and the way they carry themselves in practice with performance on the field and away from the field in the offseason. And they're not coming down here to be a part of our family and something that we believe is going to be promising. A Rodell Williams is going to come in immediately and show you why he was a 4-star coming out of high school. A guy like Malik Benson coming in could be a vital difference maker in your pass catching game. And the same thing with even DJ Uyunglele. Everyone wants to focus in on why he went to Florida State, come back to the ACC. Mike Norvell has seen enough of him over the last 2 years to understand I either know I can get the best version of him or I can't. I'm going to lean the former over the latter and just trust what I've already seen with my 2 eyes. So if Norvell trusts the move, you should trust the move as Florida State fans. I'm telling you, right now, Florida State looks to be a favorite in the ACC. Maybe not the only favorite, but definitely a favorite. And that's a testament to what they've done in the transfer portal. They need to continue to build that relationship at the high school level because recruiting is your baseline and life support. It literally controls the game of college football. But simply because you're finding success on the recruiting trail doesn't mean that you won't add in a veteran player that could be a difference maker even for a season, especially when you know what's at stake in this brand new version of our sport. So Norvell's doing everything possible to fortify this roster and make sure that the Seminoles are the favorites in the ACC. And based off the way that they're built, based on what they've added in terms of quality of talent, plus what they've also added in via the recruiting trail this past year, I would be hard pressed to say 11-1 and 12-0 is not on the table. Maybe they won't win the ACC outright. Maybe they'll have to share the spotlight with the Miami or with the Louisville or maybe even a North Carolina for that instance. But make no mistake, you will know who the Seminoles are in 2023 because they're gunning for a shot at making it all the way down to Atlanta. Even if the thought process and the pathway takes a little bit longer than even they expected. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching that video. Don't hit the X button yet. Make sure you hit subscribe to keep up with all of our daily content found on Just Saying It and anything else that we post on this channel. Bye.